Good morning and welcome to Johnson Valley, California. I am in Hammertown, but they are up at Turkey Claw getting ready to take off. I am Miles Hasselquist, and this is day one of the 2024 Progressive Insurance King of the Hammers, presented by Nitto Tires, powered by Optima Batteries. Today is the first day of racing for the LIQUI MOLY King of the Motos. This is race number one of two. It's a two-lap race, land rush start up at Turkey Claw. Lap one is 13 miles, lap two is 12 miles, 25 miles in total, some of the gnarliest trails we can find. Lap one is hard, lap two is even harder. I will be with you for the entire event, but we brought back our moto specialist, Chris Johnson and Brian Pierce. Take it away, guys.
Doing great, man. The weather that we have out here is quite amazing, and we thought we were going to have extremely cold weather. Turns out the sun's coming out, and it is going to be quite the day. I talked to quite a few racers there on the start about an hour ago, and they're looking forward to the temperature because of the fact that it is going to be a great day for riding dirt bikes. It's just kind of crisp. The sun's going to be out there a little bit, but I think they're ready to do some hard enduro racing.
So, Brian, you had a good chance of taking a look at the starting line for all the staging this morning. What did you see?
Well, definitely right when they come off the line, they're going to be about 2 minutes apart per their classes. And the thing is they have a lot of lines all over that first Turkey Claw hill that they're at. But the thing is probably most of the pros aren't going to have that much of a problem. The A riders, same thing. But as each class comes through, start to create a few more bottlenecks, that's where it's going to get a lot harder. And racers and riders are going to have to get a lot more creative on how they're going to get up that first hill before they start taking off onto the rest of the course following that GPS. We have got racers on course, so they have flown that flag. Let's see what lines everybody is taking up Turkey Claw.
Well, that's our pro line, Brian, and our first one's off, of course. Number 12 out of, I believe it's New River, maybe Peoria. Cooper Abbott on the Sherco.
And if you see number 158 out there in the pro class, that's going to be Thomas Bodrovics.
The number 727, it's Robert Cornwell on a KTM.
Number 394 is going to be Jaden Donners there in the pro class.
Number 68, it's Chance Daly on a Sherco.
226 is Jose Lewis there in the pro class.
He's from Peru. I bumped into him in the hotel this morning.
All right.
The number 55, the son of Jim Flynn, who's the promoter for Grinding Stone, and it's James Flynn on, he's on the KTM this year.
And then we've got Devin Finaro there in the pro class, number 101.
The number 110, it's Ryder Guest on a KTM.
Number 10, Colton Haker, past champion here, past king at King of the Motos. Lots of racers and riders this year.
Yeah, actually we have 26 pros lined up. Number 99, Brandon Petrie on a Sherco.
Number 190, Justin Rimley.
Number 39 on the gas, it's Will Reardon from Australia.
Number 80, Dylan Santoro. Great follow on Instagram, by the way, Psycho Enduro.
And number 69, also on the gas, it's Christian Thuridsson.
And then I'm going to let you try to pronounce number 808 there, Chris Johnson. I want to see how well you pull this off.
Oh, Brian, you're such a brat.
Just because I really appreciate you and everything you can bring to the table.
Love you too, man. Kamakana Kiawala Kula Puna, I believe it is, number 808.
And we apologize now, but we did our best. Number 2, multi-time King of the Motos champion, Cody Webb on that Sherco.
Number 5 on a Rougeau, it's Quinn Ritson. Yeah, he's a promoter as well.
Yeah.
And he's promoted 2 hard enduro events successfully this past year.
And then last on our list, number 217, Spencer Wilton there in the pro class. It looks like we've got the A class now out on course. So we saw most of the pro class making it through this first climb here at Turkey Claw and then following the GPS down and making their way through all of the mountains. But the thing is you can already see how these racers and riders are starting to stack up. They're not moving very quickly. What's happening is that silty sand is getting stuck between them and the rocks, and unfortunately there's just not a lot of traction. So they have to make sure they slow down, weight the rear wheel of that motorcycle, lots of clutch and throttle control to create momentum again once they get stopped so they can continue to climb and their way up this first obstacle.
You know, Brian, the last couple of weeks, quite a few of these riders have been coming out here for practicing. In doing so, the dust would cover a lot of the rocks and make it more slippery. We were almost hoping for a little bit of a sprinkle last night to wash some of the dust off the rocks to make it easier, but as you can see, dust is spewing all over the place. It's a dust cloud up there on Turkey Claw.
Yeah, once you lose your momentum, that is the worst thing that can happen for you, and that's why bottlenecks become a problem, because if you get stuck behind a rider, obviously, unless you're going to be aggressive and try to find a line around them, you're not going to be able to keep that momentum up. But then what you need to be able to do, you'll see some of these riders are already dog paddling. They have their legs out on the sides of them. The problem is when you do that, you're not creating great traction for the rear wheel. You need to keep weight on that rear wheel. So making sure that you can keep at least 1 foot on the peg as you're trying to get that bike going again is the greatest way that you're going to be able to create momentum from a stopped position on these obstacles. That looks like such an amazing shot. We've got so many cameras out there. We've got drones. Obviously, you were mentioning the Jumbotrons. So at some of the bigger obstacles there on the course, they can make their way. That looked like number 75. That might have been Rodrigo. Got to make sure he gets his due. But, of course, we've got so much great coverage going on here at the 2024 King of the Motos.
I'm Will Reardon. This is my 4th time at the King of Motos. I got here 5 years ago from Australia. All my life I've been into the more technical riding. I love to race, so looking around and just hitting everything I could really.
Tristan Art here. I'm from Invermere, British Columbia, Canada. I've won this title 3 years now in a row. For the most part, it's been me and Cody Webb, and then 3 years ago, I beat him for the first time. There's maybe like 8 young guys that are coming in right now that kind of want a piece of the action too. It's a little scary knowing the guys are coming, but it's also good to grow as a person, to get pushed from the young guys. I see them do some crazy stuff and I'm like, start second guessing myself, like these kids are crazy, but at the end I actually enjoy being pushed, so it's good. Good for me and it's good for the sport too.
Tristan's really good at having his body where it needs to be. Go too far back, you'll loop out, too far forward, no traction. And I think trials really teaches you that. And out here, in the span of 2 meters, there's roly-poly rocks, sands, actual big rocks with traction. You always got to be adjusting.
This race, more than any other in the US, is going to suit him really well. He finds traction where I can't find it. He pushes his body to the max, so he's going to push till his heart stops running.
I don't think you want to replicate one rider fully because everyone's different, but I think ideally you take the best things from every rider. Top 10, we all get along. Obviously race day is race day, but during the week we're all, you know, training together, and personally I hate riding by myself, so more the better I think. It's just good fun.
I think on the track we let it loose and whatever happens is going to happen, so that's pretty cool to be friends off the track and on the track race hard.
He's on another level and I've got a lot to learn and a lot to do, but for sure all of us, we all want to beat each other. I want to beat everyone.
What's different here than most races is the navigation. That's like, if you can't navigate, you're not going to win this race. It's pretty simple.
Make sure you're always looking down, which is sketch because you're going flat out and there's so many rocks out here.
Just when you think, oh yeah, the track's going this way, that's the moment it's going to make a hook left or right, and you just can't turn your brain off like that.
There's so much stuff here, it's insane, and really gnarly stuff. It's so wide, there's so many lines within the one track. So you've got to choose wisely because you could be a foot offline and it'll lead you into a spot where you don't want to be, where a meter down it's smooth sailing. So it's pretty tricky in that sense.
Get a good start, don't crash, be good at navigating. I think you do those 3, you have a good chance of being on the podium or winning.
It's my favourite race of the year. To be on the podium here, it'd be unreal.
It looks like they've gotten back on course. They're kind of all together right now, which we really didn't see a lot last year. Tristan Hart said he wanted to get out front and really kind of give a 30-second gap. Right now, it doesn't look like he's able to do that.
Well, as with lately our Dakar, and big congratulations, of course, to Ricky Brayback, American, who's a local boy out here in the high desert, California. His second time winning the Dakar Rally down in Saudi Arabia.
I cannot even imagine what it takes to pull that off. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? There is so much more than just the rider.
A lot of people don't realize the amount of importance that the navigation plays in all this. Now, a lot of our lead riders are also trying to find out where the course is. So they'll let a rider go ahead that's following the navigation just to follow him and to try to smoke him on the tail end of it. Well, there's an interesting rule a lot of people don't realize. They're allowed to go up to 50 feet off the regular designated race line. And if by chance they do go off of that, all of our riders are carrying a special navigation, not a navigational tool, a marking tool that picks up on a satellite, and it's called a yellow brick. And the beauty of the yellow brick, we don't have our yellow brick follow here yet, but it's going to be up in the booth. But you'll be able to follow the line, and you can actually see if a rider was to go off course more than the 50 feet allowed. Well, look at this bottleneck on the screen. We got a good 15 riders, well, maybe 10 riders in this mix, and they're all starting to help each other get through these bottlenecks.
Yeah, this is why not just wanting to be in one of the faster classes, right, say in the A class or the B class, but you want to be able to try to not be stuck in these bottlenecks, because the second one rider gets stuck in a line, it completely takes the line away. So you may have walked the course and you're like, awesome, that's my line. If you don't go spend some time to see what other lines might be out there for you to take, you may be completely stuck because you're just still zoned in on that one line, and there could then be 3 or 4 riders and you're just like, well, I am stuck here because this is what I chose. And then again, then you go, well, do I want to try to navigate my way around them like a mountain goat, potentially, you know, dropping the bike, not having a good line, not knowing what's going on, losing more momentum? Or you sit there, wait a little bit, and then keep going once those guys do get themselves going.
That was my next important word I was going to instill, momentum. You must maintain momentum. When you stop, put your feet down, you're already in a world of hurt right there. The rider up on the Jumbotron right now in the yellow, he just kept on cruising right on by. He passed 4 people just then by keeping his momentum.
Yeah, and if we could see the rider there in the black and white, he was trying to take that alternative line we're talking about, where say like we've got our KTM rider right there, maybe the beta, and that line was stuck because of the bottleneck. So this other rider on the black and white was trying to get around them by going to the left, and unfortunately, look what happened to him. He chose poorly, and now he's kind of having to turn around to get back to that main line.
SOL.
Dude, we just found out that Cody Webb is in the lead. Obviously, we've got great camera coverage, but sometimes they can't catch everything. So right now, it sounds like Cody Webb is in the lead. We are working on making sure that we get as much update information from the course as possible to give that to you guys. But we are about almost 30 minutes in, and it sounds like Cody Webb is in the lead. So once we find out the mileage marker that he's at, how far along he is down that course, we will let you guys know.
Check this out. Tristan Hart, our 2023 champion, is a leader. Second place behind Cody Webb, but third place, Colton Haker, 2-time champion here of King of the Motos.
We had one rider with one of the chainsaw holders on the front of his motorcycle, but instead of chainsaws, he had Gatorade, so he's got his carbohydrates and his electrolytes there, and it looked like there was maybe another bar or some other gels shoved into the front. So instead of, overloading his backpack, he made sure that they were on the front of his motorcycle. Maybe he's kind of like balancing it out a little bit. He's kind of trying to weight the front end so it sticks a little bit more instead of looping out too much. We've got ourselves a happy on the bike Colton Haker out here at the U.S. Hard Enduro Series.
He had a couple of really good rounds during the 2023 Endurocross Series, that's pretty much his specialty. He's I believe, 3-time champion.
All right, we've got a course preview for you guys that is put together. We're going to throw you guys to that. Hopefully you enjoy so far what has been going on at the beginning here on Saturday for 2024 LIQUI MOLY King of the Motos. Let's check out the course preview.
Hey guys, we're out here at King of the Motos 2024. I'm Justin Lineweber, race director, course creator, and I'm here with Chris Johnson, one of our announcers, and Brian
Howdy.
Pierce. And we're out here at the Saturday morning start, checking out some lines, giving these guys a little heads up, get ready for announcing.
Dude, okay, so I've already started to walk the start a little bit, and I've noticed that there's quite a few different lines that racers could take. Now, it looks like we're all gonna fade to the right. So what's your thought on the way that racers should attack the start here?
So the way I would attack it if I was lining up here, and I actually did line up here in 2017, and the way I would attack it is I think that this area is gonna get pretty jammed up pretty quick. I'm not good enough to take that far right line, so I would shoot up to about that middle where you saw it cross over. I think I can make it up through those rocks, and then it'll be kind of a clean track for me.
Nice. What's interesting is this line, this left line over here is very deceiving because this part looks super nice, right? Not a lot of rocks, nice and worn out. But as you get to the top there, it's the rocks get much bigger and it gets a lot more technical. So I think you're right, like hidden either this line, if you could make that line over there to get to that part that goes across the ridge, would be the right line. But again, we're not gonna be on the bikes this time, are we?
Nope, just here making it happen, right?
Yeah.
So our format this weekend for you guys to know is we're starting at 10. We've got a 2-lap race. First lap is about 13 miles. Second lap is about 12. They'll start here, they'll finish in Hammertown. They'll start their second lap in Hammertown and then finish in Hammertown.
What sort of time are you looking at for each lap?
So
Average.
I'm gonna say your top 40 guys will be within that hour and a half range, and then it'll filter on down through that for the lap times.
The ability of our pro riders has come to a whole nother level we never expected.
And it just keeps climbing.
It does.
These racers, you know, maybe in the C class, so let's say they're 20 minutes in and they're still struggling here on this hill. The thing is once they do get to the top of this ridge, they can get into that Turkey Claw range that's out there to the south of us, but man alive, like this has to be hard for them to realize that the start of their 5 hours is already struggling for 20 minutes just to get up the first hill. And so what you're seeing there is one of the checkpoints. So again, this is a navigation style event. So the way that they're not just using the yellow brick to make sure that we are on course, but they have certain checkpoints as well that they have to hit. And when they come to those checkpoints, they said as well, when the course is going to deviate per lap, they're typically going to be happening at those checkpoints. Again, they're not trying to fool the riders. They don't want to. They're not trying to like run one over on them. They want to make sure that they're safe and everything is happening. So that's cool to see that we got a chance to see that there is a check-in spot right there before this neat little ravine that they get shoved into. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very jealous. I'd love to be able to ride that. So even though we're seeing Cody Webb now in the lead, it would make a lot of sense to me to see Tristan Hart and get the win here today on the Saturday race. But the thing is it's only for placement on the line tomorrow for Sunday. There's no points that carry over to the final result for tomorrow from today. It looks like we're seeing Will Reardon again following another rider. Obviously, we don't want to make too many assumptions, but it does look like it could be number 513, Ryder LeBlanc, just because we know that Haker on a Husky is out a little bit more in front, unless Will has been starting to catch up to Haker. So, and now we've got racers definitely zipping through the course right now. That's probably going to be our Cody Webb and our Tristan Hart. Yes, this is our leaders, Cody Webb and Tristan Hart.
Wow, Tristan's all over Cody. The young and the veteran, because Cody is the veteran of this extreme hard enduro sport. Yeah, he's won a couple of, he's won 5 of the King of the Motos. He also won, I believe, 3 of the Last Dog Standings, which was hosted by Prairie Dogs at Glen Helen. That was a great event. In fact, I got to share mic duties with Tom White and Dave Brocious, who came along and started announcing with the King of the Motos.
Oh, look at that thumbs up given there to Max Gersten. That might have been Evan Ask, but it was definitely one of the media hard enduro guys there. So it looks like Cody Webb's moving and shaking. You can see him looking down at his navigation every now and again just to make sure he's there in the right spot. I just saw that fence as well. Oh, look at that suspension just soaking up those little sand jumps that he is playing on. Oh, it looks like he's having so much fun right now. And these are our pro racers. Just think what mere mortals like ourselves would have to do to be able to maneuver on this terrain would be quite impressive. I'm sure the YouTube's internets would love watching me try to struggle bus on this.
Tristan Hart slides on by. Cody takes over the lead. So we have a new leader here in race number 1 of King of the Motos.
We are 48 minutes in, and they just covered 13 miles. Now, it's supposed to get a little bit more technical. When they come through, it'll probably be right around an hour. So hopefully they're out there for over 2 hours. But in the long run, these guys continue to push the envelope of hard enduro. So we'll see how this goes for all these racers out there. Let's see who we're trying to catch up with right now. All I know is that that is an awesome little downhill that they're getting into. So they're getting into that little canyon, and then they've got to get their way back up. Now we're getting to see some of the A-riders in that section where Cody Webb got passed by Ryder LeBlanc right after he was passed by Tristan Hart.
Look at this bottleneck, Brian.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Oh, and there's Louise Forsley, one of our pro women there, number 77. So she's on that factory Sherco there. It's great to see her back out racing with us here on the U.S. Hard Enduro Series. So if you've seen movies like Marvel's Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, she is actually one of the motorcycle stunt riders that was in that movie. So great for her. But she just said that she missed racing. She needed to get back out here to her roots, racing dirt bikes, not just riding them. It looks like we've got Cody Webb now on screen, moving and shaking his way through those rocks. We've got a media bike out there making sure that they're capturing some footage of him racing here at the 2024 LIQUI MOLY King of the Motos Day 1 Saturday race. And it looks like we've got a couple A riders there passing Quinn Winslow. Quinn Winslow just kind of dropping off there. Looks like he's just coming out of back door. That's cool because backdoor's actually got quite a few different lines to come down. You can see he's trying to figure it out right now. Looks like we've got 110, so just dropping off front there. And I will tell you, that is about 5 feet tall. On camera, that looked very easy, and that is about a 5-foot drop, and he had to go about 10 feet out to make that stomp. Nice drone shot here, looking at how awesome, one, this terrain is, but two, just how vast. And the fact that these guys have to GPS their way through this terrain is quite amazing and an accomplishment, to say the least. Just for me to make it through some of these hill climbs would be the accomplishment. Add navigation in, and it gets way more difficult.
Now, this rider's actually, I think that might be Ryder LeBlanc. It is. Going down a waterfall, not going up, but going down, just like a backdoor. They're going down a waterhole and backdoor. But look at that, man. Look how tight that little ravine is there. Like I said earlier, if it was easy, everybody could do it. Look at the rider coming up this ridge right now. It's very deceiving seeing the filming coming from our drone pilots. It is a lot steeper than it appears in this picture right here, believe it or not. A lot of our two-stroke motorcycles now, especially the ones from Europe, will have electric start button instead of a Kickstarter.
Oh, and that is so nice to have, Mr. Chris Johnson. You have no idea.
Well, here's the funny part about that. A lot of the manufacturers only have a start button. They don't even have a Kickstarter mechanism.
Yeah, for a while there, you were seeing they would have the side case would still have the hole, right, for the Kickstarter. You could get that as an accessory, pay the $500, whatever it was, and you could add that on later. Well, that's not even happening anymore. So we're getting a lot more electronics. We're getting a lot more going on with the two-stroke technology that's happening. But man alive, if you didn't have a electric start, you would be wearing out that right leg quite a few times here as you're trying to get that momentum picked up. So we got number 224 here. Looks like he is on a beta two-stroke. Now what's great about the shot that we have right here is we get to see that rear wheel in action. So the Hard Enduro series, the way that Hard Enduro has evolved, gummy tires have become a thing. But for those that maybe don't know, like, what is a gummy tire? Well, the durometer of the rubber that is used, essentially just the materials that the rear wheel is made out of, is a much gummier compound than the traditional motocross or supercross rear tire that you would see. The concept there is that they are creating a tire and a tread that is capable of trying to actually grab the obstacle that you're on. So in this case, there's some silt, but there's also some very porous rock. You get a nice gummy tire on a very open, porous rock, it is like Velcro. That sand gets onto the rock faces, and when that happens, you don't get close to that porous material. The tires can't grab as much, and that's where we talk about losing momentum. It can be such an issue for some of these riders, and I'm still very jealous that these are the guys getting to drop into this amazing canyon. This is a great shot, way to look at this little ravine that we've seen the racers going down, is that honestly that is much steeper than it looks. So when we were talking about the racer that used the throw the bike down the hill approach, obviously from this angle we can tell it's a little bit steeper than it looked when we were looking up that ravine. But this is a great shot of some of the epic terrain that we have here in Johnson Valley to play with. Looks like we saw James Flynn, number 55, coming in, so he is one of our pro riders. And just to say that he is about 15 minutes off pace of those that came through. They came through about 11 o'clock on their first lap. So it's tough to see that some of the pro riders even can struggle as much as that. But that's okay. That's part of it. Hard enduro is not for the faint of heart. They are out here to be challenged and to feel the most accomplished as possible at the end of the day.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, that's never where you want to be. At least he's not under the bike, but of course this is going to be pretty difficult to lift that bike up the hill to get going again.
Look at that canyon shot. Man, Brian, the drone coverage here far exceeds anything I've ever seen.
They do such a great job here at King of the Hammers, helping out with King of the Motos, making sure we get as much great footage as we can.
King of the Hammers production doing a wonderful job of our media coverage.
I know that dog paddle technique all too well, Chris. Sometimes you're just a little tired, and getting back on the pegs is tougher than it looks, especially when you lose a little bit of momentum. But honestly, that's just the best way. You got to do what you can to keep moving forward.
Lots of phenomenal terrain to put on a hard enduro event. Look at that's a good view coming down this canyon.
That is awesome. And that looked like Will Reardon coming through riding high on these three riders that are hanging out. One of these racers has even got his kickstand out, just taking a break. Like, I don't know, guys, you need my help because I need yours. Like, let's do this together. But that was great to see. So obviously Will being able to get around them, but that means that he's on his second lap, passing those guys that are on their first lap. There we go. We got another great shot of Cody Webb out there on course. Probably close now to coming back around Turkey Claws. Probably past where the start was, but still back to go finish off this second 12-mile loop. Now, again, this loop is supposed to get a little bit more technical, so even though it is a mile shorter, they're going to be put into a part that is going to be a little bit more difficult. So the hope is that it would still take them around about an hour. So if that is the case, we should expect them to be coming in about 40 minutes. Now, again, if they surprise us like they normally do, then ride a little bit faster, it'll obviously be before that. But hopefully around noon, we'll be seeing our first pro racers coming in. Oh, we got quite the ballerina move there from the racers. It looked like he kind of caught his leg a little bit, but that's all right. He got that thing unstuck, and now we got number 72 there on that Sherco, making his way up this little rock crawler area. Looks like that might be coming down back door. Let's see what happens here. I would love to get that aerial shot of another rider jumping down the center of backdoor, because that is a lot more aggressive than you would think it would be.
Taking a little handbrake, this rider coming up to the field.
Yeah, you could tell just by the posture of his shoulders that he's not had enough. He's got more in him, but in the long run, it's definitely taken its toll on him for sure.
And he's only halfway through today.
Well, I'm hoping that these guys took their nutrition serious. They have to be able to fuel themselves on the bike, the way that they're going to be putting some kind of liquid carbohydrate supplement, including electrolytes, in their bladder. So they're going to be leveraging that. The problem, though, is that if these guys are out there for 4 or 5 hours, they can't keep enough liters of water there in their bag, nor enough carbohydrates, because you're really looking to get in 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrates per hour and about 500 milliliters of water per hour as well. And that is hard to carry that much with you. So for the riders that know they're going to be out there for more than 3 hours, they should plan during that pit stop to make sure that their bladder is full again, that they've got more carbohydrates in that bladder along with electrolytes, because you can't just rely on bars and gels. If you're racing this race and you're sitting on the side of a course trying to eat more food, or if you get to the point that you're hungry, you're already behind the curveball. So you really have to plan a nutrition strategy for these longer 5 and 6 hour races if that's how long you're going to be out there.
Number 818 of Tyler Coles. He's one of our A riders. Now coming back to this, look at a little bit of help from your friends. One of the riders having some difficulty, and another rider jumping off his bike to help him push it up that canyon.
Yeah, and that was backdoor we were talking about. And again, when you look at that, that is at least a 5-foot vertical wall. And when you come off the center and jump off of that, that is about a 10-foot outward trajectory that you have to have. So even though it looks simple from camera, I promise you when you are standing there, it is much more intimidating to realize that you are about to just huck yourself off the center of backdoor. It's never a good thing when you pull up to a spot that has bottlenecked riders and you realize there's media there, because you knew that the media was planning that it was going to be a bottleneck, and somehow you're about to become part of someone's footage that's probably going to make its way to the internet. But you could see that's a great example of a bottleneck in a section where 3 riders tried 3 different lines, one to the left, one had gone to the right, one up the center, and then there's 3 to 4 more riders sitting 25, 50 feet below on the trail, kind of like, what do? We wait until one of those lines open up, and then I'm going to try to be the one that goes first and make sure that nobody gets out in front of me. We got a good shot there of Tristan Hart out in the open, and then, of course, now we're seeing Cody Webb there up the hill, or that he was passed on earlier. So we are trying to get an update. We don't have our yellow brick laptop, unfortunately, so we can't kind of know exactly where they're out, but it's looking like they might be about 5 to 7 minutes out. So if that's the case, then they are definitely coming through this second lap a lot faster than expected by the organizers. So we'll keep you guys up to date. Oh, and we just got these beautiful shots, though, there, being able to show you guys the vast landscape that these racers are taking part on.
Take advantage of some of the wide lines and the smoother areas to rest a little bit, so you're in preparation for some of the harder areas you're going to be coming up on. And that happens every single time. It's not that often that you're going to have very many resting areas here at King of the Motos.
And that is the difference, right, between our pro and A riders and a lot of the other racers that are out here, right? The pros and the A riders, they're pushing the entire time. They're always looking for a place that they can make time, where some of our B riders, our C riders, maybe some of our youth riders, they're in a spot where they know that they have to regain some consciousness mentally, physically, emotionally out there on the course. So they're going to spend some energy. They're going to take 5 or 10 minutes. They're going to get, they're going to build up again, and they're going to keep going. Where our pro racers and our A racers, they cannot do that. If that's the case, they're not going to be out front. They know that that is going to put them behind.
We're getting down. We're just told right now, Justin Lineweber just tell us we're about 5 minutes to go to get a checkered flag for our leader. So there's Tristan Hart on the big screen coming across to the top. Brian Pierce going to get ready to come on over there to grab an interview with our top riders. So I believe it is Hart, Webb, and LeBlanc, our top 3. Can Hart hold off the charge of Webb, Haker, and LeBlanc? Your guess is as good as mine, but this is, of course, for lane choice for tomorrow's start, going up Chocolate Thunder. And we're going to be passing the mic duties over to Brian Pierce, who's going to be interviewing our top riders when they come across for our top 3 positions for podium for our first day of racing. Good dice going up in this canyon up on our Jumbotron right now. These 2 riders really going at it in a single track. I believe that might be LeBlanc in the lead over this other rider. It's either Ryder or possibly Colton Haker. Yeah, we hear the helicopter duties coming around on the other side. Drone coverage coming into Hammertown now. It's our leader.
Cody Webb, our winner here on Saturday, under 2 hours. We were expecting you guys to be out there for about 2 hours. You got passed a couple times on that first lap, but it sounds like that second lap for you was pretty wide open. You were able to be in the lead the entire time. So tell us, how did it go for you?
Yeah, it went really well. Honestly, I had a blast that first lap. We were all just motoing, swapping positions. I think I never was like worse than fourth, but man, the guys were riding good. It was super fun. Tristan and I got a little bit ahead of them. They caught back up, just the way GPS navigation is. And that second lap was more or less the same. I came in, they're like, you got plenty of fuel. So I just buzzed off, and I was able to upload my maps all from the get-go. So it's a little trickier to set it up, but if it works, it worked in my favor today. So, you know, I was able to not have to mess with re-uploading a map and take off. So I won because of strategy and a good pit.
I love that. Well, having a good strategy is a way to approach this course. Now, we were heard that lap 2 was about a mile shorter, but was supposed to be more technical. Was that the case? Is that what you found or no?
There was a really fun section in the back. I think they call it the slab. Just really cool, never-ending, huge rock slab. It keeps kind of going on and on. So that was the only real addition. Other than that, it was the same. The hardest part was just getting around the lappers still on their first lap. A lot of creative lines, we'll say. But no, I had a good time out there, and you know, the real fight starts tomorrow, though.
I like how you say really fun, where I go, I probably would have cried myself to sleep there on the side of the trail. But that's congratulations on winning today. But as you said, the real race is tomorrow. So you said strategy, right? That might be what got you here today, right? Maybe just fast riding. What is the strategy for tomorrow?
Maybe a similar setup. We'll have to kind of reassess. I think this first lap's maybe it's quite a bit longer, so I don't know if we'll be able to run 2 laps. So I might have to be pitting, and maybe that third lap, though, we'll see. But they're saying tires are going to be worn out. Am I doing wheel swaps? Who knows? We'll play it by ear.
Well, I can feel the heat of that bike sitting there, so I know that you were get on it right now. We're going to get set up so we can have an interview with our second place guy. We'll come back to you guys with these racers just in a little bit.
Thank you, Brian Pierce. Good coverage. Great interview with Cody Webb. Now back to our Jumbotron screen, following some of our riders coming back here into Hammertown for the finish. As Brian and I have been saying all along, if it were easy, everybody could do it. This is the 2024 King of the Motos.
Second place on Saturday here for the 2024 King of the Motos, Mr. Tristan Hart. So it sounds like, talking to Cody Webb, that you guys were kind of motoing back and forth. You were in the lead for a little bit. So tell us what that first lap out there was like for you guys bouncing around throughout all those trails.
The first lap was actually pretty chaotic. We swapped lead. A rider led for a bit, I led for a bit, Will led for a bit, Cody led for probably most of it. I'd say Cody was the best on the GPSs today, and that's why he won. Pretty much it's what it's going to come down to tomorrow, I think, is the GPS, not so much the riding. But it was a lot of fun today. We pretty much, 4 of us were together for maybe half of it until the end of the first lap when Cody kind of checked out and us 3 rode together. But pretty sick to be racing so close, and the helicopters over top. It's pretty sick. Yeah,
it feels pretty. I can imagine for you guys that it feels awesome. So huge thanks to King of the Hammers for us to be able to get that kind of footage, right, for King of the Motos. When Cody Webb was out front, you said he kind of checked out. Like, where do you go mentally with that? Do you go, okay, I got to try to track him down, or listen, like the real race is tomorrow kind of a thing because we don't really have any points that carry over today?
I was trying to catch him. Me and Ryder, I think we're pushing pretty good, but he just had like a
I don't know, maybe a 1 minute lead after the first lap because we messed with our GPSs and he didn't. I tried, but every time we got to a tricky spot where there's lappers everywhere, he was never even there. So I'm like, damn, Cody's he's riding good right now. So pretty excited for tomorrow to see what he's got.
Well, dude, congrats on the second place. Again, you get the lineup for tomorrow. Take some of that strategy and go have fun out there racing your dirt bike. Congratulations. Guys, we're going to get our third place Ryder LeBlanc pulled up here and going, so let's get that set up, and we'll be back in just a minute. Our third place rider here on Saturday, Ryder LeBlanc. Ryder, we heard that you actually got a chance to lead for a little bit. How does that feel? Do you get nervous still in that kind of a situation, or it's becoming more natural for you to be out there leading, you know, the likes of Cody Webb and Tristan Hart?
Yeah, apparently I haven't led enough in my life. I guess I got nervous. I blew it pretty quick, and I think I went outside the top 10. I got dug in the sand really bad. I was like, man, my day's over, and then just kept pushing through, and actually ended up making it back up to, I think I might have gotten, no, I never got into first with Cody, but I was right behind Cody with a group of the top 4 there, heading into lap 2, and then I made my own mistake, kind of like tried to be cool, get my GPS dialed in while I was riding, but I hit the wrong thing because I couldn't see it, and then I had nothing when I started my second lap, and yeah, I just kind of screwed myself there, and then luckily I just followed Tristan lap 2, and I was like, as long as I don't lose him, I won't have to touch this. So yeah, it was kind of tricky. I was just hoping that he was on the right track, but yeah, I ended up third, so good for the qualifier, but definitely want to win tomorrow.
And so what is it that, with some of the difficulties with the navigation today, what are you going to try to do tonight to maybe pick up a little bit of knowledge going in tomorrow, since navigation is such a big part of this?
Yeah, I think now I'm going to be a little more patient with my GPSs. When I come into the pit for the second lap tomorrow, I'm going to take that extra 20 seconds to get the lap 2 track onto my GPS, where today I didn't. And honestly, happy that happened today. I mean, wish it didn't happen at all, but it's better to happen today than tomorrow. So we'll take that to tomorrow, fix up a couple little things, and just try to be a little more patient tomorrow.
Love it, man. Well, thank you very much for the time. Good job on your third place.
Ryder LeBlanc, of course, from Pennsylvania. He come out in last year, first year on Factory Husqvarna. Made podium last year. He's on his way to a podium this year as well. Also like to mention his mechanic, Walker, for doing a great job of keeping that Husqvarna rolling down the road. Okay, we're bringing in the top 10 right now.
Ooh, talk us through what we see there, Chris.
Cody Webb takes the top honors. Tristan Hart in second. Ryder LeBlanc in third. Will Reardon, the Australian, coming in fourth. Cooper Abbott in fifth. Colton Haker coming in sixth. Dan Lewis coming in seventh. James Flynn coming in eighth. Brandon Petrie in ninth place. And Spencer Wilton in 10th. That's our top 10 here for our top qualifiers.
Could Cody Webb win? Absolutely. Done it multiple times. He could easily do it again. Tristan Hart done it before, could do it again. Colton Haker done it before, could do it again. But we've seen guys like we've seen Ryder LeBlanc, Will Reardon now. They are just really the new young guns on the scene that are competitive, and they're looking, they're hungry, they want to start taking down the old dudes. The old dudes. It's so funny to think of it that way, but really that's what it is. Cody Webb has been doing this for an extremely long time. Tristan Hart as well. So they're hungry, man. They really do want to stand on the top step of that box.
Big thanks to LIQUI MOLY for being our title sponsor for the King of the Motos. And, of course, Progressive Insurance for being the title for King of the Hammers and King of the Motos. So, anything else you have to say there, Brian, for us?
No, sir. You covered it all greatly.
Thank you very much, brother. With that being said, God bless each and every one of you. Chris Johnson, Brian Pierce, and Pam Hall, and Miles, thank you so much again.